Hi people, welcome to Blue K Jazz Dance, talking about my project Dance in the Spirit of Jazz. And it's a project that shares my legacy of leadership, one of the projects. And my legacies of leadership has been my staying power, my investment in my talent and gifts. If you see this picture here, this is a picture that came out in 2011 during a key time when I had septus. I got septus in 2009 and it knocked me for 6 as an individual. Some individuals will have indications. Let me show you, because you're in the blue lab at the moment. I want to share with people what I went through. I went through a very, very difficult period of time as a dancer, and you're going to see some of the things. This is what happened to me as a dancer. My immune system went down, and what happens, you have to understand, was I need to share with people some information. One, I discovered I had dyslexia in 2005. I was unaware that people don't know that people with dyslexia, they have a likelihood that their immune system goes down. They're susceptible to a lot of illnesses. I had that in my life. As I said, I didn't find out to 41 years old as I was going to university. I never let it stop me doing what I was doing, but it changed my road, my pathway as an individual, because what it did, I was trying to get O levels, do exams. I was failing exams 24/7, but I was doing short courses at the engineering college. I got offered opportunity to be a draftsman after doing YTS courses for at least 6 years, from 81 to 86. But I got placement in engineering colleges and etc. But I wanted to be in the RAF. That's where the O levels came. I wanted to be RAF pilot and then become a RAF Red Baron and then going to be a commercial pilot. That was my dream. But I used dance as a vehicle. So one of the key things is I use dance as a vehicle to develop my leadership skills, my management skills, my people skills. Yeah, it was recognized that you have a talent in dance and gifts, and historically my parents taught me that you use your talents to get an opportunity. So what happens is, to dance you need to be sporting. This dance is sporting. So I was an exceptional sportsman, exceptional dancer, okay? And both of these led to me being a leader, yeah, in ways that people could never conceive. In my school, how I started dance, basically I'd gone away to the Caribbean and I'd come back. And what happened, we had to do a lot of spontaneous writing, a lot of spontaneous talking and reading. And I decided I'm going to create a character, and I got home, I'm going to do spontaneous stories. And then I'm going to read out them stories from the paper. I was still so determined because as an individual, I was IQ tested at my school and written off and put on bottom tables. And I was treated in intolerable ways, do you know what I'm saying? And people thought they were better than me. That didn't make me feel good about who I was. But I was very tenacious. I was a person that could bounce back as an individual because I had talent, and that talent was given to me by my parents. Before I went to school, I was talented. Both my parents had special education needs. They gave me what they had, which was an ability to have a hard work ethic, to work out things and problem solve with the support of others. That's one of the key things my parents showed me. And what happened is the education system in Britain can take that away, because especially if you get put on a bottom table. If you're gifted and put on a table and you keep asking questions, the teacher puts you down. Look, stop wasting people's time. They were the type of things that you happen. Stop wasting people's time. You're on the bottom table for a reason. They will humiliate you. But at home, we used to play games. My parents were very clever. They used to play a game at my school, at home, called Teacher. Ask the teacher a question, and you imagine your parents, and then you'd play it. Your brother and you would play it. You be the pupil, I'll be the teacher, and I'll ask you a question. You got a question, you're going to answer, and I'll answer that question. So my parents encouraged this type of behaviour. Then they encouraged us to be directors, producers, put us in leadership roles. Most importantly, our parents were very good to enable us to shape a positive self-image of ourselves. They taught us to draw ourselves and create stories about our personal lives. Some people never did that, so they didn't have a positive image of themselves. I had a really positive image of myself, do you know what I'm saying? Right. Till I went to primary school and saw books on Sambo, and people had gollywogs, and when you start to see the black and white minstrel show, subliminal images portraying as a negative light, songs about you, meeny miny mo, nigger, meeny miny mo, catch a nigger by his toe. I mean, all these type of things. Went to school, blackjack suites. There was a lot of negative images about black people that made you question yourself, call you donkey, monkey, go back to where you come from. When I went to my all-white school. But anyway, cut a long story short, as an individual, I always use my talent. Yeah? And my talent, one of them is dance. And it's more than dance, because dance is more than dance. People need to know that my dance involved me dance leadership, dance management, dance director, dance producer, dance poet, dance coordinator, dance fashion show developer, dance panel member, dance lecturer. Do you understand? Advisory dance consultant. Do you understand? Dance research and development, dance academic. My dancing took me all places. I never expected to be a professional dancer. People need to understand that. I wanted to be a dancer, a tap dancer. I wanted to be a tap entertainer as part of a way to chill out. So that was one of the key things where irony, many people talk about their development in dance. I talk about how I use dance for my health and well-being. And that's been a key thing. And most of the groups I've been involved in, so for example, I was involved in dance and drumming groups. The drumming group was about personal development, it was around their health and well-being. Because what happened originally, us as a people, African diaspora people, we didn't have people getting paid for dance. They had certain people in the community, but mainly it was used for the celebration of the community, to keep us bonded, to keep us happy, to keep us healthy, to keep us in well-being, to build our camaraderie. That's how we use dance. Do you understand? And that's how I've engaged in dance from that perspective. Anywhere I've gone in the world, I've taught others. It's always been a great bonder between us. I went to Europe. People said, what can we share? Let me share my dance. And they shared their dance with me. I met a Turk, a guy from Greece. Amazing project in Finland. I met about 30 people from around the world, went there. People who were British representatives, or British representatives of their country. And I got there as an individual. And we thought, how can we... He couldn't speak English, and some people couldn't speak English. Do you know what I'm saying? They had interpreters. But he said, how can we share dance with each other? How can we share? What can we share with each other? So first of all, we said childhood songs. So I shared Caribbean songs. I didn't share blah, blah, black sheep or nothing like that. I shared songs, long time gal, me never see you. Let me hold your hand. Long time gal, me never see you. Let me hold your hand. Peel it round, cross it upon the treetop, picking the blossom. Let me hold your hand, gal. Well, that's a Jamaican song. My dad's from Jamaica. So what happened was beautiful, because they were looking at me, expecting me to come out with English songs. Do you know what I'm saying? I said, no. My dad's Jamaican, mum's Grenadian. Now, I don't know, I can't remember the Grenadian songs, but within our culture in Britain, Jamaican culture is very strong. My dad's Jamaican, he is Jamaican. Do you understand? So we shared nursery rhymes, and then I shared our jazz dancing. Do you know what I'm saying? And he shared his Greek dancing. And it's amazing. He didn't have to speak. We just had to follow what he was doing. And you saw the passion in the dancing. A woman was from Spain. When she danced flamenco, she didn't speak. She showed us by dance. She showed us her talent. She showed us her gifts. And she used flamenco as a part of to celebrate who she was. She was doing an amazing project in Spain. And she showed us a video that was, at first, the video was like 45 minutes with the best filmmaker in Spain. And he showed us the genre, the roots of Spanish dancing, from the elders to it going to schools. And she showed 5 minutes of it as a video. And what happened was, all 30 people there said, we have to see this film. And what happened was the person who was hosting, the hostess from Finland, had to let that video be shown, because everybody says, look, you just showed us 5 minutes. I need to see the whole of that video, and I need to see it now. And she got it copied, but we watched the video. It's an amazing story, and we put it on hold, because everybody was presenting, you see, like a 20-minute presentation. But we said, no, we have to see that video. It was just absolutely amazing. The passion in the video in the first 5 minutes, because I've never seen anything like it, you see, because what happened was, basically, it was the first time I've ever seen a flamenco program showing from the elders from the streets, from its hardcore in the grassroots community to the established stage. I've never seen that before. Never. And that's what community dance is about. And I was involved in community dance in Britain. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like me, I've never seen a program that shows West Indians in Britain from the elders to the young people dancers, and never seen no video like that. There's never been one. Do you understand? And she brought that, and I wanted to work with that person. The passion, the filmmaker was absolutely amazing. The whole idea and concept was innovative, and it was just capturing. You want to dance should capture you. That's the thing, and it did capture me. And it not only me, 29 other delegates said exactly what I said. We need to see the whole of that video, because it's a project that we all can do. There's a project we all can work together, because the idea I went there was basically called Youth Arts Cultural Exchange, looking at to work with other people. Many people wanted to work with this woman from Spain. That's as simple as it is. That project I need to work on. I need to come to Spain. That was it. Jazz goes with it. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? It was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So one of the key things I talk about, me as an individual, was I used my talent and my gifts. And I knew dance and sports was my gift. But what happened was I studied on a level that most people don't do, sports, and I went into higher education with it, and I found the leading teachers that could teach me oral and academic. I went to a lot of lectures on dance. I learned to a lot of lectures on sports. So people didn't know that I went into higher education college. I went to Bedford Higher Education College to do a foundation to sports and dance teacher training. And then what happened was I did a dance performance certificate, yeah, and I did a foundation to contemporary dance, music, and theatre. theatre. But originally what happened was I got let down in Bedford College because two things happened. Was I went on a foundation course and then they took away the route for me to become a teacher of dance. I had to go through a 3-year course first. But what happened I didn't even get there. I got through the first year. But what happened was, unfortunately, I was a sustainable student. I was paying my own way through Bedford on a degree. And what happened was I got injured as a dancer. A number of key things happened. I got injured. I had a robbery where they took away my money. So I could not continue there. So I had to come home. But I went on that road as an individual, as a dancer, to develop my talent. And that's one of the key things I talk about Dancing Spirit of Jazz. Dancing Spirit of Jazz is pushing the boundaries of developing your talent and gifts. Every door you open, every door that you can use to develop your talent, you do that. So I'm one of the dancers that was known. I introduced UK jazz dance to African dance. It wasn't just I went there and said I'm just going to do African dance. I didn't do that. I studied African dance and thought, how can I fuse that dance with mine? And introduced people to UK jazz dance at the highest level. I gave them workshop, master classes. I introduced it to different contemporary styles. I introduced it to capoeira. I introduced it to calypso dancing, Caribbean dancing. I introduced it to tap. I introduced it to jazz, different genres, because I did mathematics. So in my dance, if you see me sometimes, you see that I'm using a bit of mathematics dancing. Do you understand? I introduced it to different types of tap, rhythmic tap, British tap. Yeah, I introduced it to ballet. So I did ballet jazz, my ballet jazz. I introduced it to contemporary. I said contemporary genres. Flamenco. I introduced it to tango. I introduced it to vernacular swing. I studied under Frank Manning and Norma Miller. I went to work with them, shadowed them. With the Jive Lindy Hoppers, who used to bring them regular. A gentleman called Terry Monaghan, the late Terry Monaghan, as an individual. Me and him was going to work together to bring the last Nicholas brothers here together. That's how much we was involved. I was involved in using my talent and gifts. That is what I'm known for. And Dancing Spirit of Jazz started in 1981. What happened in 1991? By 1991, I'd been robbed. All the information that I had, all the books, the journals I put together was taken away. Memorabilia was taken away. So I had not abandoned it. I had to start the project again. Now, cut a long story short, between 1991 and 2005, I've gone into university. I've gone into university 2005 now to write again on this project. And what happens is, a person had come into using technology. I put everything on the web, and I got viruses. I had viruses. A virus came onto my computers. I had computers and then backup computers. All got virus. Everything I scanned, films, were all wiped out. I had to start again. Amazing story. But because I was still dancing, see the irony, the beautiful thing, I was preserving at that time. I could go and still preserve the dance style. So what happened, I was still dancing the same way that I had. I knew the way that I developed, and most importantly, it's more than just preserving, it's the record, you see. The records make you dance in a certain way. I had the original records, the dance floor jazz that I brought myself up on. I wasn't dancing to other people's records. I started to rediscover the blue note I had, yeah, in university 2005 to 09, because I was on YouTube 24/7, and what happened was I could get the records that I danced to, and I used to practice to them in the home and practice outside. The swing music I loved, I started to dance to that. Clothes, what happened, beautiful. I got vintage clothes in Oxford, etc. So I continued my culture, because it was a culture of vintage, and it doesn't stop. Dancing Spirit of Jazz never stops. It's always pushing the boundaries. When you go to cities, there's always some form of vintage place there. Do you understand? And there's always people that dance to jazz. It's important to understand. But what I realized when we went around the world, I danced to swing totally different from others, because we weren't taught Lindy Hop. You need to understand the significance of what happened in Britain. Britain miseducated us on dance and music. Rock and roll is actually Lindy Hop, but they never told us that. I learnt rock and roll. I'm going to tell people, yeah, but that is actually originally Lindy Hop. People need to understand. That's where it comes from. And we weren't told that. And as an individual, we were taught by our parents just to improvise to music. All genres of music. That is how UK jazz dance came about, which is an umbrella term for a number of UK underground dance styles. But we weren't trying to dance jazz in the beginning. It was what happened. We had funk, and it went to jazz funk. Jazz funk, we just danced to it. Then it went on to soul jazz, disco jazz, and then what happened when jazz fusion came in? Jazz fusion took us to bebop, and it took us to modern jazz, cool jazz, and modern jazz. That is when we really woke up to jazz and unprecedented, really looking deeper. But what happened, what woke us up, was reggae music, which was influenced by jazz. Reggae music, roots reggae, brought the political consciousness to us, and dub just transformed that political sense of mind about pushing the boundaries of your learning, and come from dub music. Dub music was influenced by modern jazz, but they were using electronic sounds. So they were the key things I talk about. What I talk about as an individual was there was the other derivative music that was influenced by jazz that led us to jazz at the end, because you were studying what a dub producer was doing. He would, in his journey, in learning about his journey, they all identified sound system, they all listened to jazz. But they're now using the ideas within jazz, within electronic form, within the music that they played. So jazz has played jazz has played an important role in the sense of all music. People need to understand that. And many of the musicians, you'll hear me say over and over again, the jazz musicians were the ones who developed the derivative forms. Do you understand? It's just that they couldn't make money from the jazz, so they're now making other types of music. That's how pop music arrived. That is how